Guys, our today's topic of discussion is the difference between the non-cyclic photophosphorylation and cyclic phosphorylation. Guys, as you know that previously we have studied about the Z scheme, and you know that if you have not studied the Z scheme first, then I will give the link of that video in the I button and as well as in the description box. And guys, you know that about the Z scheme, that the Z scheme or the light dependent reaction is in the form of the Z-like structure, or is in the form of English alphabet that is shaped as Z. And that Z scheme is not in the cyclic form, means the flow of the electron in the Z scheme is not in the cyclic form. The electrons are flowing from the photosystem P60 and ending at the NADPH, ending at the formation of NADPH, you know. And there is no reversal in this total reaction. So this reaction is not in the cyclic state and is in the form of a Z shape structure. So it is called as non-cyclic photophosphorylation. So Z scheme is also called a non-cyclic photophosphorylation because the flow of electron is in the non-cyclic way. And why it is called photophosphorylation? Because you know that there is the use of the light energy in this reaction. So this is called photo and phosphorylation, meant for the synthesis of the ATP, that you know that the ATP is synthesized in this electron transport chain. So simply, the Z scheme is called non-cyclic photophosphorylation because in this all structure, in this reaction, there is a synthesis of ATP in the presence of light, and this all reaction is in the non-cyclic way. So this is called non-cyclic photophosphorylation. In comparison to the non-cyclic photophosphorylation, there is a pathway that is called as cyclic photophosphorylation. And under certain condition, guys, the photoexcited electrons take this alternative path, which is called the cyclic photophosphorylation, or simply the cyclic electron flow. Guys, this path uses only the photosystem 1, and the photosystem 2 is not used in this pathway. There is the fall of light at the photosystem 1, and due to this fall of light, the electron excite from this photosystem and will be received by the primary acceptor. And the primary acceptor will then give it to the ferredoxin protein, and the ferredoxin protein will, instead of giving it to the NADP plus reductase, the ferredoxin will reversely give the electron to the cytochrome complex, and the cytochrome complex again transfer the electrons to the photosystem 1 via passing through the uh, mm, simply this PC, that is simply called as plastocyanin. So that guys, this is the electron flow in the cyclic pathway, means the electrons are excited from the photosystem 1 and then and then returning to this photosystem 1 again. So this reaction is called the cyclic photophosphorylation. And why this is called photophosphorylation? The reason is the same, because there is the use of light in this reaction and there is the synthesis of simple ATP in this reaction. So this pathway is called cyclic photophosphorylation. Guys, one thing you have to remember, that in the cyclic photophosphorylation, the NADPH is not produced, and at the same time the oxygen is also not produced, and you know that the NADPH and oxygen were producing in the non-cyclic pathway. In the cyclic pathway, there is simply and only the formation of ATP. Here this. So this is the second difference. First, this is cyclic pathway, and the second difference is on the basis of the products, that the cyclic electron flow simple have only the product that is called ATP. Guys, next thing we are going to discuss is that why this happens, and why sometimes the photosynthesis or shifts from a non-cyclic pathway towards the cyclic pathway. Then the one hypothesis about this is that possibly it happens when the chloroplast runs low on the ATP for the Calvin cycle. You know that Calvin cycle needs NADPH and ATP that are synthesizing in these reactions, and sometimes it may happen the cell has high amount of NADPH, but there is low amount of ATP in the cell, and as the NADPH and ATP both are required by the cell, so the non-cyclic flow will shift towards the cyclic flow, so that the ATP should be formed in an adequate amount, and the amount of the ATP and NADPH will be sufficient in order to used in the Calvin cycle. So the NADPH uh, may stimulate a temporary shift from the non-cyclic to the cyclic electron flow until the ATP supply meet the demand. So the main stimulation may be the high or rise in the amount of NADPH and low in the amount of ATP. So there will be a shift of the non-cyclic pathway towards the cyclic pathway, and this shift will continue until the ATP supply meet the demand. So this is the reason why the cyclic flow happens, and these are the main differences between the non-cyclic and cyclic photophosphorylation. So guys, if you like this video, share this video with your friends. Thank you so much.